So, what I could only come to describe as an absolute comedy piece if it actually does happen. But according to V, I found a video. I think he was talking to Mr. Medica. And V said that the reason Sargon hasn't been doing much recently is because he's trying to get into mainstream politics. Okay, so if we'd already gone over Sargon's ridiculous liberalist society and the fact that you can say stuff, all this stuff on his liberalist things, yeah, he can say all that, but when it comes to all the, meat and potato of it, he's got no policy. He doesn't, cite real world examples. He doesn't say how he wants to change things to suit his examples, things that he will be asked when he goes mainstream. So I highly suspect at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised to see by the end of this year, we see a actual liberalist manifesto, which will be hilarious to read, because as I'm sure Sargon's already shown, when it comes to the actual policy of something, actual real world change, you can say everything under the sun, but unless you actually put a concrete plan together of laws you want introduced or changed or what you actually want to do, then all Sargon is going to be is all bark and no bite, and no one will take him seriously. Not only that, there are hundreds of clips of Sargon saying the most dumbass, stupid, racist, bigoted, whatever you want, it covers pretty much everything, right? Take a look what happened to Mylianopolis. When Mylianopolis was taken down for basically promoting paedophilia and saying that paedophilia was a good thing, that interview had been up for almost a year. So if Sargon goes mainstream, what will happen is that the mainstream will go, let's look at this guy, and they will dig up everything. Right? And that will be, Sargon will be in the mainstream for literally seconds before people show up all these clips and basically force him to explain. Particularly the one where he says he will lie so long as it's pragmatic. So, Sargon of Akkad going mainstream, an absolutely bad idea. My advice is to just stay on YouTube, because he is not going to make it in the mainstream world. He has said and done too much stuff on YouTube which will be brought up against him, and he will have to defend it. He can't wipe it away or just shoo it away. He will be forced to address it, and if he doesn't address it, or if he bypasses it, then they'll just say, well, you're clearly a racist because you haven't addressed this. You haven't addressed what you said on this video. You didn't address what you said on this video. What about what you said about Muslims on this video? You would have I guarantee you there is a list as long as my arm of just random stuff of the stuff Sargon was said, which was just absolutely disqualify him from going into that mainstream political arena and working with politicians, because politicians will do background checks. They'll find out who you are and they'll do a thorough one, bear in mind, and as soon as they see just minimally of the stuff that he has said in the past and who he is associated with, then they're just going to go, not interested. Or you're too much of a risk to be associated with, I'm not associating with you. That's what they'll say. That's what will happen. Sorry, Sargon, but you going mainstream, it's laughable. And if you do, you won't have much time in the spotlight. I mean, apparently, the first big thing they are doing is the Dankula protest. They're going to protest him, the sentencing, in a couple of weeks' time. I very much doubt the media will care, to be honest. No one will be there. It's sort of a done story at this point. But there you go. So yeah, that's Sargon of Akkad going mainstream. Yep. Here's the thing, Sargon. Sometimes being the big fish in a small pond isn't a bad thing. And when you try to jump into the bigger pond, there are bigger fish than you that will eat you for lunch. And that is exactly what's going to happen. And I will laugh, and I will enjoy what happens.